This 30-minute yoga class will include breathing yoga exercises for stress. Welcome to Yoga with Melissa. Today's series is a brand new series, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But for today's class, you're going to need a blanket, which you're going to roll up like this for our first yoga breathing exercise for stress. And I'll show you how we're going to start. This series is going to be a series, I think a 5-class series on the Radiance Sutras. That was the big surprise. So that will go along with our breathing exercises for stress. You're going to put this underneath your back somewhere where it feels comfortable, either underneath your shoulders, underneath your rib cage. You can even put it underneath your low back. They're all going to help you with your breathing. And you're just going to lie down. And rest over it wherever it feels best for you. This was a pose that we did a collaborative restorative class in our membership community. This was one that we did there. So you're going to place the roll wherever it feels best in your body, maybe in your mid-back, maybe in your low back. They're all going to support you in opening to your breath. And then I will sit up and share the context for this class. Just allow your body to settle into the earth. And allow the shape of the roll to open you to your breathing at the base of your lungs. No need to fix or change your breath in any way. The roll will open your breath a little bit more already. Over the next several weeks, our yoga practice is going to be inspired by Lorin Roche's translation of the Radiance Sutras. The Radiance Sutras are 112 techniques for enlightenment through everyday lived experience. Each of the sutras is a way of attending to the divine energy that is always flowing through us and of which we are made. It is a conversation between the god and the goddess, between Shiva and Shakti, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. The inseparable partners and their favorite dwelling place is in the human heart. So as we take the time to immerse ourselves in these sutras over the next several weeks, our bodies, our minds, our emotions, our energy, and our spirit will awaken to the sacred that permeates our entire being. It's important to note that the Radiance Sutras are not a to-do list or a manual or a how-to, but it's a relationship that will emerge between yourself, with a capital S, and your lived experience. So as we begin to delve into the sutras, you'll hear that they're playful and exploratory. They're meant to be explored by your sense perceptions. So allow yourself to be lighthearted as you open yourself to this divine exploration. Be serious about taking yourself lightly, as my friend Anita Goa always says. Lorin Roche says, through play, find your way, freedom, revelation, illumination. He suggests that this text will open you to being at home in the universe, to bring radical acceptance to every intense experience, every sensual delight, every ordinary moment, as a gateway into deep and intimate contact with the forces of life. So without further ado, let's go deeply into experience, embracing it fully without reservation. So today we're focusing on the first verse of the sutras, and this is the first verse. The way of experience begins with a breath, such as the breath you are breathing now. Awakening into luminous reality may dawn in the momentary throb between two breaths. The breath flows in, and just as it turns to flow out, there is a flash of pure joy, Life is renewed. As the breath is released and flows out, there is a pulse as it turns to flow in. In that turn, you are empty. Empty, that emptiness as the source of all life. Okay, so from here, you're going to take the little round bolster that you made underneath your chest out from underneath you and lie back on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Okay, so from here, you're going to draw your right knee into your chest, and we're going to move with breath here. So as you inhale, you're going to exhale, you're going to hug your knee into your chest. Inhale, let your knee fall away a bit. Exhale, draw your knee into your chest. Inhale, release. Exhale, draw your knee into your chest. Inhale, your lower belly expands, it presses your knee away. Exhale, your lower belly falls back, your knee comes into your chest. Inhale, your lower belly expands. Exhale, your lower belly drops back, your knee comes in. Then you're going to release your right leg down and just pause here. Feel the difference between the two sides. And as you're feeling the difference between the two sides, I'm going to read you verse 1 again. The way of experience begins with a breath. Such is the breath you are breathing now. Awakening into luminous reality may dawn in the momentary throb. Between any two breaths, the breath flows in, and just as it turns to flow out, there is a flash of pure joy. Life is renewed. As the breath is released and flows out, there is a pulse as it turns to flow in. In that turn, you are empty. Enter that emptiness as the source of all life. Okay, so now we'll do the other side. You'll inhale, your belly expands. Exhale, you draw your left leg in. Inhale, your belly expands. Exhale, you draw your leg in. Then from here, we're going to open up your side ribs. So you're going to lie on your back, and you're going to take your legs over to the left side of your mat and your torso over to the left side of your mat. You can stay here with your hands down by the side of your body if that's giving you a nice opening. Or you can take your arms overhead. If that's too much for your shoulders, you can take your little round bolster there. You can place it underneath your elbows, or you can hold onto your wrists there. So whatever feels most comfortable in your body. And while you're holding it on this side, I'll read you that verse again. The way of experience begins with a breath. Such is the breath you are breathing now. Awakening into luminous reality may dawn in the momentary throb between any two breaths. The breath flows in, And just as it turns to flow out, there is a flash of pure joy. Life is renewed. As the breath is released and flows out, there is a pulse as it turns to flow in. In that turn, you are empty. Enter that emptiness as the source of all life. So you're going to come back to the center. Pause there for a moment. Just notice the difference between your right and your left side. Notice if your breath is flowing more easily into your right side. And now you'll take your feet over to your right side, your head over to your right side. And then you can, if you want to, take your elbows up overhead. If it's too much for your shoulders, you can take your blanket underneath them, or you can hold on to your wrists here. So depending on how much of an opening you want along your left intercostal muscles, this is a great way to open up those intercostal muscles for breathing. Soften through the joints and breathe into your left side ribs. Then you're going to come back to the center, and again, pause here for a moment. Just feel the difference now that you've done both sides. And then you're going to bend your knees and roll to your side. We're going to come up onto all fours. Okay, you're going to come onto all fours for cat pose. If this bothers your wrists, you can always come down onto your forearms to do this pose. We're going to begin by moving from your belly button as you exhale round, and then inhale and arch your back. Exhale round, and inhale arch. And then you're going to think about moving from different parts of your spine. So think about moving from the lowest part of your spine, from your tailbone and sacrum. And then from your heart center. So lifting the back of your heart up towards the sky, and then the front of your heart towards the ground. The way of experience begins with a breath, such as the breath you are breathing now. Awakening to the luminous reality may dawn in the momentary throb between any two breaths. Let's add some rotation. Inhale, rotate right arm open, and then take it between your left arm and your right knee. The breath flows in, and just as it turns to flow out, there's a flash of pure joy and life is renewed. And let's do this on the left side. Inhale, open. As breath is released and flows out, there's a pulse as it turns into flow. In that turn, you are empty. Great. Okay, so we're going to make our way up to standing. Before you come up to standing, if you're enjoying this class, you can subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up and put "I am breathing now" in the comments. Okay, so let's come up to standing. Okay, from standing, we're going to do something to wake up your lung energy to help your breathing. In Qigong and traditional Chinese medicine, there are acupuncture points just below your shoulder blade in that divot. called lung 1. And if you massage them here, let's just massage here on your left side. And we'll inhale. And we'll exhale and make the sound for the lung 2, which is like a snake. And then we'll tap on it too. Okay, now I want you to just pause here for a moment and feel the difference between your left and your right side. And then let's do that on the right side. So you're going to inhale, you're massaging that divot just below your shoulder here. Inhaling. Making that lung sound. And then we'll do some tapping as well. And then let's pause and feel here. Breathe and just notice if it's easier to breathe and that there's more flow of chi through your body here, energy. Good job. Okay, so we're going to take our feet wide on our mat. And you're going to inhale here. And you're going to exhale. We're going to fold forward, come into a standing forward fold. And you're going to make sure you fold forward so you have enough room for your arms to swing here. So we're going to release tension in your shoulder joints. You can let your head hang here. And I'll read you the verse 1 of the Radiance Sutras here. So you're just swinging your arms, releasing tension in your shoulder joints so that it's easier for you to breathe all the way into the upper lobes of the lungs. So the way of experience begins with a breath, such as the breath you are breathing now. Awakening into luminous reality may dawn in a momentary throb between any two breaths. The breath flows in, and just as it turns to flow out, there is a flash of pure joy. Life is renewed. As the breath is released and flows out, there's this pulse as it turns to flow in. In that turn, you are empty. Enter that emptiness as the source of all of life. Okay, and then just your right arm, circle it. Circle it the other way. And your left arm, circle. And circle the other way. And then you're going to roll up to standing. And from standing, you're just going to pause and sense and feel if your lungs feel more relaxed and less stressed and easier to breathe because of that release. Then you're going to stand at the top of your mat. Okay, this movement, the arm movement, I learned from Kristen Polzing, who I will put a card to up here for you to check out her channel. She has a Qigong channel, and I highly recommend her. Her videos are so fun. You're going to take a step back with your left foot, and you're going to sink down through your front right sit bone. You're going to interlace your fingers, reach your palms forward. Okay, so you're going to stretch out your upper back, the backs of your lungs. And then you're going to take your arms over to your left. And then you're going to drop your left elbow and look through the portal there. Okay, we'll come back to the center, so you're just stretching out your back again. And you're going to take it over to your right side. Drop your right elbow. And you're going to look through that round hole in your arms. Come back to center, and you're going to release your arms down, step forward. And you're just going to pause here. Breathe, especially into your back, and just notice how that feels. Great. This time you're going to take a step back with your right foot. Interlace your fingers. Reach the backs of your hands forward. Let's go to the right first this time. Drop your right elbow. No, drop your left elbow. I don't know. I think it doesn't matter. Maybe it does. No, we went this way last time, didn't we? Yeah. And then we're going to come back center. And this time you're going to go to the left and drop your left elbow and look through. Come back to the center. Stretch out your back again. You're going to step forward and just pause here and sense and feel, notice. Notice if your breath is flowing more organically, more freely, if you're feeling less stress in your upper back, neck, and shoulders and through your lungs. I think that's my last one from standing. Yes, it is. We're going to come down to a seated position. From here, we're going to bring the backs of our hands together. Inhale up the midline. And as you do this, imagine it clearing your lungs. Twist to the left. Exhale into your twist. Now you're going to reverse it. Inhale back up. Exhale down your midline. Again, clear your lungs. So inhale up your midline. Exhale into your twist. Inhale, back reverse. Exhale down your midline. Inhale up. Exhale into your twist. Inhale up to reverse. Exhale, clear down your midline, clear your lungs. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reverse, and exhale. So this is called fireworks. So you can imagine when you're at the fireworks, those really pretty white fireworks that go off and they're quiet. And then they just sprinkle that stardust down. Relax your joints, your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders. And we're going to do one more each side. Okay. And then we're going to do some hand body mudra series, which are great for breath. So you're going to make your hands into an L shape. Place them at the base of your ribs. And just feel for breath movement here at the base of your ribs. The way of experience begins with a breath, such as the breath you are breathing now. Awakening into luminous reality may dawn in the momentary throb between any two breaths. The breath flows in, and just as it turns to flow out, there's a flash of joy. Life is renewed. Okay, now you're going to take your L's and you're going to move them up to the level of your armpits. Relax your elbows, relax your shoulders. As the breath is released and flowed out, there is a pulse. It turns to flow in. In that turn, you are empty. Enter that emptiness as the source of all life. And then take your fingertips, place them on your upper back. Here we're really entering into the subtle body. You have to become very quiet to feel for breath movement under your fingertips here. And then interlace your fingers except for your index finger and your thumb. Place them on your breastbone and feel for breath movement under your fingers here. And you can finish your practice seated here with this mudra if you want, or any one of those. Or you can finish resting back in Shavasana, or with the bolster, the rolled up blanket underneath your chest, or your mid back, or your low back. Okay, so whichever works best for you to finish. So as you're resting in Shavasana or sitting, I will sit up to read you the first verse of the Radiance Sutras one more time. The way of experience begins with a breath, such as the breath you are breathing now. Awakening into luminous reality may dawn in the momentary throb between any two breaths. The breath flows in, and just as it turns to flow out, there is a flash of pure joy. Life is renewed. As the breath is released and flows out, there is a pulse as it turns to flow in. In that turn, you are empty. Enter that emptiness as the source of all life. So you can gradually allow your breath to deepen. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can start to wiggle and stretch out. Bend your knees. Roll to your side and pause on your side for a moment. Slowly make your way up to a seated position, and we'll gather the fruits of our practice into ourselves and then offer them out into the world. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to the happiness and freedom for all. I'm sending you much love from beautiful British Columbia. May your joy be as deep as our Pacific Ocean. May you be as rooted as the old growth trees in our forest, and may you be as strong as our mountains. Om Shanti. Namaste.